and gentlemen, welcome to Azeroth Daily for the 25th of March 2011. My name is TotalBiscuit, bringing you your daily dose of WoW news and comments. The latest round of hotfixes for March the 17th to March the 24th has come out, and there's not too many of them this time around, although interesting stuff for the priests. There have been numerous bugs fixed with mind control, which should stop gauntlet events resetting, as well as creatures evading and resetting in general after mind control actually wears off. There have also been a few changes to raids, which mostly consist of bug fixes. There don't appear to be any immediate nerfs in that particular set of hotfixes. Ghostcrawler has released a very lengthy blog post called Dev Watercooler, the view from 10,000 feet. And the purpose of it overall is to announce the fact that they're going to be putting out some blogs which are more conversational pieces as opposed to proclamational, which is of course not a word, but he's claiming it is now. Whatever the case, what that basically means is they just want to discuss things and talk about things and share information rather than making claims and proclamations and statements, more to the point, about what's going to be happening in the future. I'm okay with that. I'd like to see a greater insight into the way that the devs actually think, because then I might actually be able to explain some of their crazy decisions. But whatever the case, it's a very good blog and I'd recommend you read it. Link, as always, in the description below this video. A new World of Warcraft trading card game expansion is on its way, and it's going to be released all over the world on April the 26th. It's called War of the Elements, and as well as including some new loot cards, it also contains more Stash, Heirloom, Goblin, and Worgen cards. They've also announced that this is their first year creating the WoW TCG. You might remember that it used to be dealt with by Upper Deck, and event attendance is up across the board, and sales are very good indeed. So it looks like the game will be around for a while yet. There's also some information about the forthcoming events in the description below this video. A member of Blizzard Entertainment by the name of Joseph Holly has decided to auction off his unique Wolf Rider statue. And by unique, I mean it's only given to employees of Blizzard themselves. It is made by WETA, and there were 2,986 of these made in limited production, and this one is number 286. It is on eBay right now. You can go and check it out, and if you happen to have the cash, you can bid for it as well. Admittedly, it is not exactly what I'd class as cheap. The current bid is $1,000. There's still 6 days left on it, so go and have a look-see. It is quite the piece, honestly. It's a really, really nice item. Regardless, I'm still hoping for the Winged Lion to be a charitable donation there, since most people can't afford a $1,000 statue. But regardless, it's an incredibly generous thing for that Blizzard employee to do, so very, very cool indeed. And with that, it's time for your Daily Blues. Mossberg is, by the sounds of it, justifiably unhappy with the performance of the World of Warcraft magazine. Now, the subscription was supposed to be for 4 issues, once every 3 months. However, it seems that the 3rd issue hasn't even come out yet, and they're already now asking for a renewal of the subscription. He's also complaining that there is no exclusive content in this magazine, and it seems to be just some guy's opinion about what's going to be happening in future. Now, the response from this comes in from Nethera, who says that from what I understand, the 4th issue will be on its way shortly, and if you were subscribed for the first year, you will be receiving this issue in your mailbox soon. As for the exclusive content issue, she claims that the artwork on the cover is exclusive, and the interviews inside the magazine are also exclusive. However, if I'm totally honest with you, I don't really think that's all that worthwhile, and if you want some guy's opinion about video games, well, there's a channel for that. It's quite close. You might know about it. That actually kind of is it for the Daily Blues at the moment. There's nothing worthwhile on the forums right now, but there you go. So, with that in mind, it's time for your daily grind. Head on over to Tanaris, and you will find yet another quest which involves the desecration of corpses. What the hell is with this? We had one on the last episode, which involved having a spider eat Murloc corpses, and this one involves a entrepreneurial goblin who is looking to make a profit by chopping up pieces of desert animals with the butcher bot. It is actually kind of sickening. This thing is a little bit psychotic. I am terrified by the thing, and it also takes bloody forever. I don't know why they couldn't have just had it follow you around. You have have to summon it every single time. Maybe they could learn some lessons from the spider. With that, it's time for your weekly feature. It's the postcards from Azeroth. Now, I've been looking forward to this one for a very long time, specifically because I know you guys can come up with some excellent shots of some truly great-looking areas in World of Warcraft, and that is exactly what you've done. It took ages to flip through all of these and pick the 12 best, but regardless, they have been done, so here we go. The first one comes in from Ricardo Passos Fiera Oliveira. Good lord. And it is the one and only Utgard Keep, and what a shot of Utgard Keep it is. Absolutely fantastic. It's funny that you never really realize the scale of the damn thing until you look at it from a very specific angle, and I love the fact that the Aurora Borealis is going on in the background. Absolutely wonderful. The second shot comes in from Inkjat Vukovic, I think. This is the Vernal Dam in Oldham, which is quite the impressive structure, and a good shot there as well, displaying it from the air and nice reflections on the water. Always a good thing. Next one comes in from Devon Davis, and it's simply subtitled Karazhan, and indeed, what more needs to be said about this 17-floor tower in the middle of the Deadwind Pass? It is excellent stuff. Nicole Adam comes in with this one that is Telrador, and she goes on to describe it from the architectural standpoint as having double staircase, whimsical open platforms. This spacious area is complete with floating elevator and central fountain. Although warning, those allergic to mushrooms may find this city to die for. Yes, it is a wonderful, wonderful area, is it not? And sadly, of course, the Horde didn't really get to go up there. That kind of upset me, because my god, was it an awesome area. This one comes in from Richard Ellingson, and it is simply entitled The Throne of the Four Winds, which is unbelievably good looking. I mean, I've got to say, this whole theme that we came up with for this week to show the most architecturally stunning buildings in the game has really paid off in spades. There are so many great looking buildings here, and this entire area is absolutely phenomenal. This one comes in from William Copley, and that is Gundrak, and I love Gundrak, with the exception that it looks a little bit like a troll version of Disney World. Look at that. You know, compare that to the Disney logo. It's a little bit terrifying, isn't it? This one comes in from Jared Screever, who says, this is the bank in Darnassus, and what do you mean it's not a building? Well, it's not a building, but I'll let you get away with it. I don't think the architecture there was particularly planned, but it's a cool-looking area nonetheless. This one comes in from Christopher Matheson, and this is a little bit of a troll by the looks of it. Shady Rest Inn in Dustwallow, and he says, observe the finely burnt wood, the mysterious blood and gore that covers its floor. What else do you see? An architectural masterpiece! This is where people across Azeroth stayed after a long journey, or at least it used to be. I'm not sure that qualifies as a winner. This one comes in from Alex Zether, who shows us the wonders of the Lordaeron throne room, and yes, it is absolutely wonderful. I love that logo on the ground, and when you see it from that particular angle with the light shining on it, it looks really, really awesome, and somewhat haunting as well. This one comes in from James Dobson, who shows us Light's Dawn Cathedral in Gilneas, which indeed is an excellent piece of architecture within the game. In fact, that entire city is extremely well designed and does look specifically different from all the other cities in the game, which there was a big risk of it being another Stormwind, and it's not, and I am a massive fan of that. This one comes in from Maker Manastorm, who says, Fizzle and Pozic Speed Barge. No other mobile structure in all of Azeroth has nearly as many shenanigans, explosions, or downright crazy contraptions that can make your head spin in 5 different directions. Not to mention that it was built by gnomes and goblins working together. It's blasphemy, I tell you. Blasphemy. But it is an amazing looking area, is it not? The goblin and gnomish version of a cruise ship, with 100% more radiation poisoning. And the winner, ladies and gentlemen, I think, to be honest, considering the shot, it's got to go to Jack O'Neill, who brings us this wonderful shot of the outside of the Temple of Anchorage, complete with Prophet Skerim in there as well. Oh yes, the Temple of Anchorage, and indeed the entire Anchorage area is an absolutely wonderful area. Possibly, in my opinion, the best looking architectural area in the entire game. It is awesome, so thank you for that shot, and it is a good one as well. The Anubisaf. Such a pain in the ass they were. Okay, folks, that's us done for postcards for the time being, and as I said before, there will not be full Azeroth dailies next week. At least for quite some time, through to about the 7th of April, because I will be in Italy. However, I think I'll do a postcards from Azeroth anyway, because that doesn't take a huge amount of time to put together, and I will, I think, have the time to look through them and find some good ones. So I'll come up with another theme on Monday for you in Azeroth Daily Light, which is what you'll be getting for the next week and a half until I get back from Italy and everything's sorted out. And with that, it's time for the mailbox. This one comes in from Adam Clark, who says, me and my friend decided to jump to the same server. In the process, my third friend said his server had a good raiding guild on it, and so things spiraled out of control, and in total I think I had myself and 26 friends moving servers to start a 25-man raiding guild. This was costing us £15 a person. We then got into a massive argument that divided us down the middle. Those of us for the microtransactions, saying it's a way for them to make more money to further improve the game, and what should be the majority actually saying, no, this is an MMORPG with 12 million players, and if you want to hop servers to play with friends, there should be restrictions. I assume you mean no restrictions there, but whatever. Me and friends, of course, fleshed out, you would have to have cooldowns or applications, of course, for this kind of thing, otherwise people would be hopping to the best servers to join the best guilds for free runs, etc. What is your opinion on the matter? If Blizzard were ever to make changes to their customer services, how could they make it work fairly? Well, there's a couple of problems with what you've just said. One, being that, no, people wouldn't be hopping server to join the best guilds and get free runs, because the best guilds don't just let anybody in. They're like country clubs, they have applications, they only take the highest caliber of people, so on and so forth. You get the idea. So I don't view that as a problem. I don't view that as the kind of thing that would actually happen. Server hopping could happen, but it could be very, very easily fixed by putting in cooldowns, and you could also have stacking cooldowns, for instance. Maybe let you move to one server and then put a short cooldown on, and if something ends up going really wrong, you can move off that server fairly quickly, but the next transfer will be much longer, and so on and so forth. And if you do then want to bypass the actual cooldown, then have a charge for it. It is unjustifiable. Now, secondly, the idea that they're putting more money into the game, there is literally no evidence of that. There isn't, and there's less content coming out. I mean, look at patch 4.1. Tell me they're putting more money into the game yet there. They're not even making a new dungeon. They're rehashing two that they did years ago. That doesn't sound to me like they're getting more money into the game via the services to do that. No, it's being used to finance everything else. You're bringing in loads of money. You're using WoW as a cash cow to finance development on StarCraft 2's expansion, Diablo 3, Titan, the console version of Diablo 3, and whatever the hell else they're currently working on. Now, that's kind of how companies work, which is fine, but it also throws the argument that, hey, if you got rid of those microtransactions from the game, then the game would suffer in terms of the content out of the window. That argument has no basis in fact. There is no evidence to suggest that there is a direct benefit. I think if there were a direct benefit, I'd support it even more, but I don't support it at all at this point, because it's a fully automated system that requires almost zero maintenance and should not be costing people that amount of money. It is extortionate to ask £15 or $25 for something that does not even require the guys over at Blizzard to click a button. As far as I'm concerned, microtransactions in subscription games should be non-existent. You pay a subscription to avoid microtransactions. Having them in there as well for essential services is unbelievably disgusting. I would be more in favor of having microtransactions for stupid pets and things like that, because at least they're optional. Things like moving server when your friend decides they want to go join another guild or whatever, I view that as essential to your enjoyment of the game. So that, to me, seems ridiculous. It's like charging people every time they want to log in from another computer. Think about it. Actually, don't think about it. Blizzard might do that. Ugh. This one comes in from the sarcastic one who says, in the March 21st episode for Daily Blues, you were showing one of them that was stating how WoW was a chore, and your general response was along the lines of join a guild and raid. However, to actually be considered for raiding, the guilds that do it require you to do your dailies. Rubbish. I'm in one that doesn't. Go away. I'm sorry. Anyway, I'll continue with it just... Yeah. Oh, God, that's so silly. Anyway... Do your LFD and get your Valor points. Reason being is that this is now the main way to get raid-ready gear without being in the raid. Heroic Dungeons no longer cut it for raid-worthy gear, and when I last played in January, like you, I'm on and off with WoW, the raiding guild that I was in with some buds were saying that the only way to actually get raid-ready gear was via your dailies and point farming. Some people in the YouTube community disagree with this argument, but is Blizzard at fault for having changed the way loot is distributed? Of course, it's better than Wrath, but now they basically made dailies and reputation a requirement to raid. What do you think? Do you agree or disagree with this logic? Well, if I'm honest, I disagree with the logic because I have done the raid content in the beta with item level 346, which is heroic gear. So if you're telling me that that's what is required, you need 359 gear in order to get 359, then I have to question your logic there. That seems ridiculous. However, I also view it as Blizzard's fault, because Blizzard should never have put that method of getting items into the game. It shouldn't be that. It simply shouldn't, because this is another problem with what happens when you put something in the game that allows you to get gear beyond your station. You do turn it into a grind there. Having a requirement as a guild to go do your daily heroics is nonsense, and this is the kind of thing that only really started happening in Wrath, if I'm honest with you. It's kind of towards the end of TBC, or in a much more minor capacity, as the expansion was pretty much done by that point, but it was mostly in Wrath that this really became a factor. And it's pretty damn disgraceful, if I'm honest. There is no reason for it. You don't need it to do raid-level content. It just makes it easier, which is why some guilds are requiring it. That does not mean that every guild requires it. That's nonsense. If you surveyed all of them, well, Trollface doesn't require that. It's pretty damn ridiculous. The thing is that most raiders are going to want to do it anyway, because the kind of person that's a raider is also the kind of person that wants to optimize and maximize their potential, and that is one of the easiest ways of doing it. As far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be in the game at all. It should be thrown out, and then that wouldn't be a factor anymore. But Blizzard insists on continuing with this ridiculous badge thing, even though there are a number of alternatives to help both newer players who join later in the tiers, and, of course, those who are doing ults if they just get a little bit inventive. And there's been loads of suggestions on the forums as to how to do that, whether that be via the use of BOE heirloom-style items, or whether that be by the use of something like a sidekick system, or dungeon difficulty scaling, or anything like that. This is an easy way to do things. This requires very little effort from Blizzard, and it also appeases a bunch of people that think they're entitled to some of the best loot by doing very little work. This is sad. Very, very sad. Okay, folks, that's me done for the week. Thanks a lot for watching Azeroth Daily today. Please remember to thumb it up and favorite it if you are enjoying the series. And as I said before, Azeroth Daily Lights will be coming from Monday until I get back from Italy, because I will not have time while I'm in Italy to do that, and I'm actually trying to take a little bit of a vacation there as well. But I'll try and keep you up to date on the latest news in vlog form, as I'll be taking my video editing laptop over with me. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you next time.